What's up, everyone? We are at the Arby's Cinema Center at Sundance 2026. I am so excited to kick off my Collider interviews this year with the team behind Saccharine. Huge congratulations on your movie.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know what your movie is about, and I liked it quite a bit. But because a lot of people out there are first going to get introduced to it through our conversation, I must ask you to do synopsis honors. Can you give everyone a brief description of your movie?
Yeah, absolutely. Saccharine is a psychological body horror about a medical student named Hannah, who, in order to win the affections of her personal trainer, buys into this kind of underground weight loss fad of eating human ashes, and as a result becomes haunted by the person she's eating, and this ghostly presence starts to wreak havoc on her life.
A lot of layers there. This is one of my favorite questions to ask when I become really fascinated by a story. Can you tell us idea number one, the thing that started this all, but then also if you had a break story moment, something you came up with along the way that made you say to yourself, this is whole and ready to go now?
Yeah, I think the kind of background atmosphere would have just been, my upbringing and kind of having parents who sat on very opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of how they related to their bodies. So I knew I always wanted to talk about these themes through a story. But I think the idea of, being in the grasp of an eating disorder and feeling very out of control, or something else was driving a specific type of compulsion or hunger, it made me feel like horror was kind of the perfect vehicle to tell that story. And I suppose I was drawing on the logic of the picture of Dorian Gray, but instead of the painting getting older, obviously the ghost gets larger the more weight that she loses. So I thought human ash, something really visceral and tactile to kind of link the spirit to her, was the way to go. And to answer your second question, I think when I settled on or found the image of the anatomical Venus, that really kind of, for me, thematically tied everything together. So that was a real shift or a pivot in the writing process.
So smart. That's why I love the horror genre so much. I feel like there's just so many possibilities to dig into and explore very difficult human truths via extreme genre storytelling. And your movie is a perfect example of that, working very well. Midori, I'm going to come your way now. I am obviously an outsider looking in, but I look at this character and I say to myself, my God, you can only have the most fearless actor take on that role. So when this opportunity came your way, what specific things about the role made you most nervous? And then can you tell us how you overcame those fears and gave us an incredible performance that we see in the finished film?
Absolutely. When I read the script, I read it from start to finish. Sometimes with the type of brain that I have, I need to go pace around a little bit and then refocus. And I thought if this role comes to me, that I just have to say yes. I knew it would be hard, but it was just I'll have to say yes. Of course, I have to say yes. I read the script and I knew exactly what Nat was going for. I knew exactly what she was intending. And I knew exactly what type of distress, horror Hannah was going through. And I also saw this beating heartbeat of this very smart woman who was just trying to figure it all out. And, maybe doesn't make the right choice, but I saw a great empathy. And I knew that playing her would be a delight because I could see her heartbeat. And I understood her. So much. So
I have one follow-up question. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll ask you for the first time this happened. When you first read the script, what was the very first thing your character went through that made you stand up and pace around the room?
Oh, no. What I'm saying is normally I pace around to refocus when I read, but I was just glued to my computer. I
thought you need to process stuff.
No, I couldn't.
There's a lot of stuff here that I would think you would need to take a breath.
Well, I do personally, I like a happy ending in general. So I was just, I will say, I was still rooting for her till the very end. And I was like, oh, what's going to happen then?
I think that's one of the first things you asked me. You're like, does it have to end this way?
I have some notes. Change it.
Yeah. I was just like, oh man, no, shucks.
I get that. Whenever I find a character in a TV show or a film that I love, I'm always like, I want you to walk off into the sunset. I want everything to be happily ever after for you. And then I sit there and remind myself, if that happened, you wouldn't have a TV show or a movie.
Exactly.
So you know what?
And I don't want to spoil the ending, but it was, I was sad for her, but it was just so smart. I mean, to me, this is movie for me personally with Hannah about hunger. And of course you see the food, but it's like this insatiable desire for love and acceptance that she's not giving herself, that she's not getting from the world. That's just, and so to me, the way it ends, it was just like, oh yeah, of course, this hunger is going to overtake her.
She's got some good people in her corner while going through that journey. So Danielle, I'm going to come your way first, because the second I saw you on screen in this movie, I'm like, everything about this character's energy and style, like, I like it. I want to see more of it. So can you walk us through figuring out who she was, and also maybe working with Natalie and the hair, makeup, and costume team to figure out why that is her style?
Yeah. It was interesting because in the same way that you read the script and you were like, I instantly understood who Hannah was and what she was going through, I kind of really instantly was kind of like Josie, and I was like, why would someone do, like, I was very much Josie, like, wait, self-acceptance, love it. I was like, I need to understand the intention behind this, because it fascinated me instantly. Like, the script captivated me, and I was really excited to meet with Nat. But it was talking with Nat and hearing her vision and everything behind it that I was like, okay, I'm in. It was Nat, because here, like, when you read a script, there's so many different ways to interpret it. And I love Josie instantly, because I was like, okay, I can relate to her in a lot of ways and understand her. But because I can, it was almost like, please explain to me the other side of it now. I really need to hear that. And Nat's vision was so clear. Nat is so smart. And it just, I just really, really wanted to work on it and work with Nat. And getting into the character, I think, weirdly, it's really helpful when you put on a wig and you have makeup that you wouldn't normally wear and clothes that you wouldn't normally wear, because it does help you find a vibe. Like, I think I'm not a potty animal. I think Josie's a bit more of a potty animal. We spoke about this.
We had to do a lesson to learn how to do ketamine.
Yeah, they like
not that anybody knows how to do that here.
No, but they're like, so we're gonna teach you how to do this. Probably, I was like, guys, my idea of a fun night is on the couch. Like,
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, exactly.
You seem to do that bump pretty easily, though.
We had a practice session.
I literally had a practice session. I'm not kidding.
With who?
With me.
So who was leading the session?
That's an appropriate follow-up question.
I think specialist.
It was a prop. It was a prop session.
Specialist.
We had to learn some props.
We did.
We went through
It
all
was
the
a
props.
really big spoon.
We all had to
why was
learn.
this
We all
such
had
a
to
big
learn how to
spoon?
snort things.
We all had to learn. There was a lot of googling and involved. Yeah. No, but it was fun. It ended up being such a fun process. Like, these ladies are amazing. I'm sure you can just feel their vibe, and so it was so exciting getting to like explore this world together.
Yeah, you guys all clicked so instantly. I was, you always hope for that, but it was amazing to see it all.
You can
come
totally
together.
tell when you watch the finished film. It's like one of those situations where like the chemistry really does leap off the screen. I want to ask all four of you a silly question inspired by Josie as a character. Let's say you, as in real you went through like a haunting or possession type experience. Can you each name a past co-star that you would turn to for help, who would actually believe you and help you fight this evil entity that's haunting you?
I have to start. Sorry. I just have to say that I'm calling Danielle. Because
high praise.
Yes, because especially like this was an incredible shoot. It was so fulfilling, and there were also aspects of it that were challenging. And Danielle happened to be there on the very last week, which was it was a race to the finish, and she was the most supportive person and friend. And I called her then, and I would call her again. And you could call me back.
So are you a believer though? Would you believe?
Yeah, no, I would believe.
Yeah, she believes
I
in
would believe.
supernatural.
Yeah, I would believe.
I remember that from our first meeting too.
Yeah.
You were like, actually, this doesn't seem too far-fetched to me.
No, I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you be haunted by something? I'm like, sure, yeah, I buy that. Like, I buy that. Who would my person be? Okay,
Yeah, let's hear it.
Jamie Dornan. Yeah, because he's like such a dad. I don't know how else to explain it, but I was like, help me, please. He's someone that like takes care of people. So I'd be like, Jamie, help me. Yeah.
Good quality to have, and
It's a
someone
great
fighting
quality
for
to
you in
have.
that
It's a nice
situation.
quality, yeah.
I would probably say Zoe Robbins, who I worked on Wheel of Time with. Yes, we were in the trenches a lot together and spent a lot of time living out of each other's back pockets. So she would be my life raft. Yes.
You can play too, or do you want to pick Danielle? Both pick Danielle.
No one's allowed to pick.
I would probably just call my partner Ben, who is a very haunted person. Actually,
A very haunted.
yeah, he often will have these like kind of night terrors where he wakes up and sees people in the room. He's not scared. I'm scared. So yeah, I think he would believe me though. So
That's good.
I don't want to put him on the spot, but that sounds like a whole other movie idea right there. Madeleine, I have to tease your character a little here. I obviously do not want to spoil anything, so I'm going to give you a big, complicated two-part question to kind of tease how she operates in this world. What would you say is, I guess, like a pro of your character? Something about her that Midori's character will benefit from, but then also, even if it's unintentional, what is a con about, their relationship and maybe the challenges that she's putting herself through this program?
Yeah, I think I might start off with a con. I think maybe I haven't had a coffee yet, so go and shut some notes.
Uphill from there.
I might start off with the con. I think a theme that we really explore in this film is like objectification of oneself, and maybe assuming that somebody's life is better or easier because of the way they look or the way they present. And so I think that might be a bit of a misconception that I think people would have about Alanya. I think a con for her, a pro for her, is that I think she's very earnest and genuine, and I think she does have like real empathy for people that are struggling, and I think that's what makes that relationship, like really wonderful. Like the relationship that Hannah has with Josie is that she does have people in her corner that genuinely care for her, and who have all in their different ways, I'm sure, have experienced, a form of either disordered eating or body dysmorphia or self-esteem. So I think for me, I struggled a little bit with trying to like sit into the, sort of fitness influencer character, but and Ben has done a lot of work with fitness influencers and social media presences in the past, and I remember Ben said something of like, they are some of the hardest people I've ever worked with. Wow. And that for me was really, I feel like, a turning point as well, of being like, really wanting to like help people, and that's, I think, at the core of her being.
I love it. I have to wind down with you all soon. I have to squeeze in one Wheel of Time question, because I was a big fan of that show. And I'm still quite heartbroken that the rug was pulled out from under all of you way too soon. So I get it might be too fresh and it might still feel too raw. But when you go through something like that and you give yourself to a story and a character for 3 seasons and so much of your life, I always do wonder, what has the experience been like finding closure? Like, is there any way that you are able to close the book, even though you didn't get to finish her story on screen in this series?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. I feel like we still had a lot more to tell, and I think, I feel like the fans who have been lifelong fans of the book and new fans that have come into loving the series were really excited to see what were going to happen to these beloved characters. I think also, these characters were so brilliant, and they still have so much of an incredible arc to tell, and we were only just getting started. So, it was pretty devastating, I think, for a lot of the people working on it, and, for our fans as well. So
I very much understand that. Yeah. For what it's worth, I hope that the very loud fan response to that happening serves as some sort of a Band-Aid, that even though you only got the 3 seasons, it meant a lot to a lot of people out there to see that story unfold on screen.
Oh, it totally did. And I mean, that has been I think one of the highlights of doing that job, is having the interaction with people that this story and these characters have meant so much to.
You built a very special fan base with that. Congratulations on that and the show, because I loved what we got. Danielle, I have one upcoming project question to ask you, because when you're in a movie that Courteney Cox is directing, I absolutely have to ask about it. Evil Genius. Can you tell us anything? Because this is one particular thing I was curious about after reading a little bit about the story, about the tone of that movie, and maybe also what it is about her directing sensibilities that made her the perfect fit for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you know the story, if you've seen the documentary, or just know the story from the news, it's crazy what happened, and it's dark, but Courteney brings a lot of comedic energy to it. Truly, it's because it's so absurd. It's almost funny. Like, we were on set and we're like, why is this funny? Because it's so crazy. So it's nice when you can have something kind of dark and awful happen, but you can find levity in it, because it's kind of sometimes the only way that you can sit through it and process it and experience it. And I think she was kind of the perfect choice, because she was really passionate about the story. She's the reason this film happened. And it brought a lot of kind of levity to it. She really made sure to infuse that. So yeah, but it was really exciting. It was fun. We just finished filming like last month. So
congratulations on that. Congratulations on this. I can't wait for more of the world to see Saccharine. Thank you for coming by and sharing some of your experience making it with us.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.